to ask any questions, just pop your questions in there, and then we will pick them up during the dedicated Q&A time at the end of the session. You should also be able to see a chat option. So if you would like to just reach out directly to anyone during the session, please also feel free to use that. I'm just going to give 1 or 2 more minutes for people to join the session, and we'll be kicking off very shortly. Okay, I think we can start now. So again, thank you very much for joining us today and for your interest in applying for the Accelerator. We are joined today by Thomas White, who's the Ecosystem Director for Maritime and Logistics at Connected Places Catapult, as well as Alice Johnson, Accelerator Program Team Lead, and Sophia Lalucci, Innovation Business Analyst. We also have Paul Wilson, Systems Engineer at Connected Places Catapult. And my name is Ivana Gut, and I'm the Program Manager for this Accelerator. So our agenda today includes an overview of Connected Places Catapult and also specifically the Maritime Focus Program. So that's what Tom is going to be talking about. We will then move to specific information about the Accelerator, about the key dates, challenges, and processes, both for the application and the program itself. We will then have a dedicated time for Q&A, but please be free to post your questions in the Q&A box at any time during the session, and not just during the Q&A. And then we'll close with some final remarks and the contact details in case you would like to reach out to us after the session. So now I'm going to hand over to Tom. Tom, if you're ready.
Thank you very much, Ivona, and yes, good morning everybody. So I'm Tom White, I'm the Ecosystem Director for Maritime Ports. I'll just introduce a little bit more about the Catapult and our work in the sector before we hear a little bit more about the Accelerator program. So if you don't know the Catapults, we're a network of not-for-profits across the UK focusing on different sectors or challenges where we have an opportunity really to grow UK capability and impact from innovation. So there's a few flavours of Catapult out in the world, from energy systems to offshore renewables, digital and satellite applications. If I could have the next slide, please, Ivona. So the Connected Places Catapult, we are the innovation accelerator for place leadership and transport, where we focus on mobility, the built environment, critical infrastructure, public spaces and well-being, where our role is really around helping the market to connect better, sparking the emergence and development of innovation, but as well accelerating the commercialization and exploitation opportunities for innovators across our sectors. Could I have the next slide, please? And in maritime, if we've ever spoke before, you might have seen this slide. We do this to drive forward the development of what we see as the future maritime and ports ecosystem, with ports really acting as the place-based innovation hubs where maritime, land transport and place collide, presenting unique opportunities to act as catalysts for renewable energy, for autonomous systems, advanced analytics, multimodal optimization, but as well future fuel generation, storage and distribution. If we could have the next slide, please. And we do all this driven by our goals as an organisation, which are to drive regional economic growth in areas around the UK that have maritime business ecosystems, to help grow UK businesses, to help commercialise research, to help with the big challenges around accelerating the transition to net zero, but as well stimulating cross-sector opportunities where there's innovation, for example, in manufacturing or automotive or aerospace that could be applicable to maritime, but as well where maritime is developing solutions that can transfer out to other sectors. But as well as that, we're looking to deliver wider benefits such as supply chain efficiency and resiliency, and grow the global export opportunities for IP that's anchored here in the UK. Next slide, please. And a lot of the things we do is based on these underlying facts of what slows us down in that happening anyway, and why those things are a challenge. Whether that's due to a lack of confidence to invest in really new solutions from demand side, whether it's in how we address the naturally risk-averse nature of the sector due to our long asset lifetimes, whether it's due to the limited funding that maritime has received in recent decades in the innovation ecosystem, or on our historical barriers to collaboration in certain areas. And but as well as that, we often, as a sector, and this isn't just unique to maritime, I mean, none of these challenges are, but we often lack clarity on our future end state and what we're trying to achieve, but as well how we need to get there. A lot of challenges are big systems challenges that don't just need one component, they need multiple components coming together in a timeline to create a future system. But as well, we've not always been the most transparent sector in terms of what our challenges are as businesses. And we have to recognize that sometimes in the innovation space, when we're talking about new technology, things just get lost in translation, whether that's from academia to industry or the other way around, or whether it's from an innovator to an investor or vice versa. Next slide, please. And in addressing those challenges as well, we have to recognize that we work in a very complex global ecosystem in maritime, where our interactions, our relationships and roles can be complicated to navigate, whether we're looking at a regulator, a regional authority, a port, a shipping company, or global regulators. But effectively, the Catapult, we work to coordinate these different components as an ecosystem to help us achieve the big things and the big challenges that we all face, whether that's to help deliver regional economic growth by supporting regional maritime business ecosystems, or increasing foreign direct investment into those ecosystems, or growing export opportunities for UK IP. Next slide, please. And we've been working across the UK on this over the last few years, together with partners either on an individual basis or as a consortia of different partners from academia and industry, to advance initiatives that build out the elements from that map I showed earlier about what this future port and maritime ecosystem looks like. And just by way of a couple of examples, we've been working with Aberdeen on shore power and taking really a place-centric approach to the decarbonisation of the sector. We've also been working with our accelerator partner, the Port of Tyne, both on the Maritime 2050 Innovation Hub, on microgrids, about how we can take advantage of ports' unique geographic position in that we have access to lots of different types of renewables through ports, and the digital enablers to that. As well, we've been working with Portsmouth International Port to trial on-site hydrogen electrolysis, carrying out a vessel retrofit for hydrogen as a fuel, but also developing digital twins to enable a more data-driven, predictive view of multimodal future fuel demand and generation capability through ports as multimodal energy hubs to make better informed decisions. But we've also worked with other ports and maritime stakeholders on key initiatives such as 5G, on future freight, borders and security, ensuring that we as a sector have the right skills, on developing autonomous systems and driving forward green shipping corridor opportunities both in the UK and internationally. And do check out our website to find out some more on all the work and all the projects we've been doing together with industry, or get in touch with us to find out some more information. But of course, we're here today to talk about the Accelerator Launch, which is part of our national work and part of our wider Maritime Innovation Flagship Programme. To say a bit about that, the Flagship Programme was something that we launched this year to specifically address the challenges that we see in the disconnect between the vast innovation activity we have in the UK to investment and industry adoption. And in delivering on this longer term ambition, the programme delivers several things, including work that builds commercial confidence in future technologies, engaging with regional maritime ecosystems on their specific challenges and launching new initiatives. An example of this is our Moving on the Mersey programme, if you've seen it. We'll be stimulating live trials and demonstrators funded by industry. We'll be supporting the growth of SMEs and strengthening the case for private investment in maritime innovation. But as well, we'll be looking towards future support for the wider programme initiatives over the coming years. And I think I've seen we've landed on the pictures slide, which is just about the right time. So with that, just a short introduction from me. I'd again like to welcome you all to this webinar about the Accelerator programme and really invite you to come on this journey with us, which has been just absolutely fantastic so far across regions, across innovators, across industry, across government in terms of its reception and the work we've been able to kick off and start. And really work with us as we work closer with regions, innovators and industry to help grow the opportunities in what I'm sure we all know is an amazing and diverse sector that really all of us have the pleasure to work in. And with that, I'll hand back over to Ivona. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Tom. And yeah, I think that gave us really good context of where the Accelerator sits in the wider ecosystem and other activities that CPC is involved in the maritime industry. So we're now going to hear from Alice Johnson, who's going to speak specifically about our Accelerator programs and also introduce the Maritime Accelerator. Over to you.
Thanks, Fiona. So we at CPC, we've been running accelerators now for a couple of years. There's a few examples up here of those. And just to sort of clarify what we mean by an accelerator, that is usually a 4 to 6 month programme. We start with the challenges of the partners, either industry, local authority, government, some of which you can see here in these examples. Try and understand what challenges are they trying to tackle, and then once we've established those into statements, which you'll see some examples of today, we then go out to market and try and source some really good SME solutions that we can support through the 4 to 6 month programme. That's in a kind of a bespoke journey of looking at technical support, commercial support, and also trialling as well, so that we can help to bridge that gap between partners, industry and SMEs, and help you to kind of enter that supply chain. The next slide, please, Ipona. So just a quick thank you and nod to some of the industry partners that are supporting us with this programme now, some of which you can see on the screen there. So we've got Port of Tyne, the National Shipbuilding Office, DP World Southampton, the National Oceanographic Centre, and the University of Plymouth. And there are some more to be announced over the coming weeks, which is really exciting. So we look forward to sharing that with you in due course. But for this programme, we are looking for 10 SMEs. Criteria generally TRL 6+, some traction in the market, some examples. Doesn't have to be in the maritime space. You might have examples of customers in the other space. I know Ivona's going to talk more about the criteria in a bit, but that's what we're looking for. Applications closing at the end of this month, so still a couple of weeks to get your applications in. Next slide, please, Ivona. And then just to kind of cover what makes us different, we CPC, we have a lot of technical expertise in-house, some of which are obviously on the call today, but we have about 160 technical experts at the Catapult. So what we do when we build an accelerator program is we look at each of the members of the cohort, what you need to grow. So we try and steer away from generic support because we know that you are at later stage. And we look to utilise the in-house support of the Catapult, and that's to support you with the trialling aspects and to support you with generally with understanding your technology, how that sits within the market and how you can grow. We also have a big network of SMEs, obviously, and we obviously sit in the heart as a neutral convener with industry, academia, government. So we leverage those relationships through our programs to try and bring the right stakeholders together to support you to grow. Next slide, please. And just to finalise my bit, this is the general offer for the programme. So we'll be looking to explore trial opportunities with the partners that I mentioned and with other partners as well. For each cohort member, we're offering coaching and mentoring. So that's looking at things like investment readiness, customer readiness, so introducing you to lots of potential customers out there, supporting you to articulate your offer, to tailor it to those customers, and access to technical expertise, which I've already mentioned as well. But like I said, those are examples. What we try to do is to look at what you need as a business and what bespoke support we can offer you during that 6 months. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Alice. Yes, that was a great intro to the Accelerator, and I'm going to cover the specifics later in the session. We are now going to move on and talk a bit more about the challenges. So I'm going to hand over to Sophia, who's going to cover that bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. So in order to define the challenges for the Accelerator program, we hosted workshops with a wide range of members from the maritime industry. And we asked participants to discuss the challenges they identified around these topics and any opportunities that they felt could be used to potentially solve those challenges. So this involved investigating core themes and topics that arose from notable trends in the space before we then conducted a voting session to understand the areas that the industry felt were most important to them. Following the session, we actually finalized the challenges and consolidated any kind of overlapping opportunities into what we call how might we statements. And that made sure that the ideas that were discussed were now addressable. These were then validated through discussion with maritime partner organizations and then finalized into 3 core challenge areas. So these 3 areas are data, decarbonization, and infrastructure. Thank you. The first challenge is around data and digitization. So we're looking for solutions that can help improve efficiency across the maritime value chain by coordinating and normalizing data accessibility. The second challenge revolves around the topic of decarbonization. So this includes solutions that enable access to new technologies that can accelerate decarbonization in the maritime sector. And then last but not least, we have infrastructure. So challenge 3 takes into consideration solutions that will facilitate access to best practices across sectors to improve existing maritime infrastructure. Now I'll go into detail into each one of them in a second. So challenge 1, as I just mentioned, is data. And I also mentioned that we previously consolidated challenges into addressable how might we statements. And that's what you see before you here. So we provided a few examples of how might we problem statements for each challenge. And these were the 3 that were scored highly for each one. So for data, the top 3, as you can see, is how might we use data to increase the integration of other transport modes within the maritime sector. The second looked at how might we encourage data exchanges amongst on-land and at-sea maritime industry players to improve operational efficiency. And this will include efficiencies around harbour operations, logistics, and the like. And the second is leveraging an open, shareable, non-commercial, and trusted data system that enables the industry to gain value in the end-to-end supply chain. On the next slide, you can see challenge 2, again, looking at decarbonization. So here we're offering an opportunity to solve challenges related to decarbonization of the maritime industry. And examples include how might we use technologies to retrofit existing maritime technology, port-related assets, and new designs to be greener. The second is how might we use innovative technologies for logistical route optimization to support decarbonisation of on-land and at-sea operations. And the third is how might we identify the most inefficient energy consumption activities across the value chain and eliminate them. So generally, challenge 2 is looking at solutions that can make the industry greener by retrofitting, optimizing, or eliminating efficiencies. Now, challenge 3 is where we invite applicants to solve challenges around infrastructure. So this is a more open opportunity where we encourage the SMEs to introduce sort of best practice learnings and test solutions from other industries to improve maritime infrastructure. Again, you can see in front of you, we've got 1, how might we enable early stage innovations to be tested and integrated into existing infrastructure. 2 is how could we use learnings from other industries to better model future fueling options and energy demands. And this can include ship types, vessel routes, ports, and the like. And then last but not least, how might we leverage existing insights for more accurate demand forecasting to increase efficiency of UK port infrastructure? Now, it's important to note that whilst these examples were the top 3 voted problem statements for each challenge, we actually encourage applicants to include their own problem statements as part of the application, so long as it falls under each key challenge of data, infrastructure, and decarbonisation.
Thank you very much, Sophia. That was very insightful. And we have these challenges listed on the webpage on the application form. So don't worry, you don't have to take notes now. Thank you again, Sophia. And I'm now going to move on and talk a bit more about the selection and application process. So in terms of applying, it is a 2-step process. So when you start applying for it, you'll notice that you will first have to create your profile on the platform, and then you will be able to submit the application. So bear that in mind. If you would like to use that QR code, that will also take you to the application directly. The deadline is 31st of August. And in terms of the eligibility, we are looking for companies that are UK registered or are serious or in the process of becoming one. They have to be innovative and have innovative digital or data solution which addresses either one or more of the challenges which Sophia talked about. Another one which I think is quite understandable is the willingness to really participate in the program and engage with other SMEs, with the partners, with everyone who we put forward to you to work with. And there will be on occasion a face-to-face meeting. For example, our welcome event is going to be a face-to-face one, but primarily the program is online based. And as Alice mentioned before, we are looking for SMEs at TRL 6+. So you have to have a sort of validated prototype with market traction. And this is really important for, you know, if there are any trials that you are ready to crack on with that. So in terms of the scoring criteria, you will notice once you start filling out the application that there are certain sections. It's divided into sections that kind of reflect the elements here. So we'll be looking at, you know, what are your unique selling points? What is the technology that you have developed? Have you got any clients at the moment? What is your market traction? Who is in your team? And, you know, do they have a sort of demonstrated knowledge and skills to participate in that program? And how does your proposal align with the challenges? Also, you will have a chance there to suggest a trial. So, as we mentioned before, at the moment, the trials are not sort of confirmed, but it is possible that they will be. So we will definitely would like to know your thoughts around that. And in terms of the application timeline, so we are now in the application collection stage. So we launched that on the 1st of August. finishing on the 31st of August. We will then be shortlisting applicants. So we're aiming to come up with a list of 20 strongest applicants who will then be put forward for two-stage sort of interviews. So first technical assessment with the CDC technical teams, and then another one with sort of focusing more on commercial, where we would also invite our partners. Then very shortly after, we will select the final cohort of 10 successful SMEs. And we are aiming to have our welcome week with a welcome event on the 5th of October. And then we will have the core program happening until March, when we are planning the demo day. In terms of the structure, you will see here various elements that actually Alice already touched before. So the program will consist of a number of workshops, events, one-to-one mentorship sessions, business coaching, investor network access sessions, international expansions, and we will also be making sure that we check in with you all the time on your progress and take any suggestions, notes, and point you to the right directions and so on. So that it will focus on sort of team development as well, business development and sales, and this will also all aim to kind of prepare you for the demo day, where you will be speaking in front of investors and presenting your solution. So this is it in terms of what we have prepared to present to you today. If you have any questions after the session today, you can reach out to me directly or Alice. I'm now going to look at the Q&A box to see if we have any questions from anyone. Okay. First question, if you are a UK SME but part of a bigger EU business, can you still be involved? Alice, would you like to take that one?
I think that's something you might need to contact us about, because it might be, we probably need a bit more information to answer that. But effectively, if you're classed as a UK SME, or in fact, if you are classed as an SME, but you have plans to develop UK operations and UK base, that's fine for you to apply. But yeah, it depends on what that means as being part of a bigger EU business. Are you acquired by them, or what's the kind of details around that? And if you get in touch with us, we should be able to help you.
Thanks, Alice. The next question is, thank you for the comment, Jeremy. The program was fantastic. Thanks for that. And the question is, as an organization, we are currently TRL4 with plans to achieve TRL6 by this time next year. Is there a plan to rerun this in 2023? Well, we're hoping that the program will be successful. So if it is, then yes, we will rerun the program. Generally, like we mentioned, we are accepting TRL6 plus. If you happen to be TRL5, very nearing the TRL6 at the time of application, please also apply, because it's really important for us to know that you are there and that you are very much getting ready to be at that stage. So is the August application solely related to data solutions? No. So the 31st of August application is for any challenge you apply for, that's your deadline. So make sure you put your application in before that date. Is there any funding available for this program? So there are no fees for this program. We don't take equity. In terms of funding, well, we will not provide you with any funding, but if we run any trials, then that obviously will come with some. So this is kind of to be confirmed. I don't know, Alice, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, we are exploring some actual potential trial funding, which we might be able to announce in due course, not at the moment, unfortunately. But either way, you know, we will be encouraging the development of trials with programme partners, and looking to unlock funding that way. But unfortunately, at the moment, I can't really disclose any further information on trial funding.
Thank you. Another question, is there a portfolio approach to select the companies? So I understand that the question is whether, for example, 2 SMEs can apply together. I believe that happened in the past with other accelerators, so we would accept that, and we would very much encourage applicants, the successful applicants, to kind of have that collaborative approach once they're on the program, and there will be definitely potential to work with others as well. But Alice, from the sort of past experience with the previous accelerators, was that an approach, and was it successful?
In accepting joint applications, sorry.
Yes, yeah.
There's nothing to say that we can't do that. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. If you want to apply collaboratively, we have had that before, and that's been fine. So there's no, can't see any reason why not.
So yeah, I believe Amit's and Stephen's questions were about that.
In terms of selecting the companies, it really is, they really are scored based on the competency areas that you covered, Ivona, in your earlier slide. So that's how we select the companies. We run through a scoring process internally based on those areas, and then we will move into a technical due diligence phase, where you'll be invited to pitch to technical experts in late September, and then a commercial due diligence day where the commercial partners will look to score the final applications, and some of that will be looking at programme fit, so use case opportunities as well.
Thank you, Alice. Are there any other questions from anyone? And please do feel free. I understand now there's might be a bit of an information overload. So if you have any questions after the session today, you can email us directly, and the events team will be sharing the slides with you and the recording, so you can run through that again. Let's just wait for the other questions. But I have a few that usually come up in our sessions like this. So if anyone is wondering, for example, if you're planning to apply for one or more challenges, it is absolutely fine to apply for more. You just have to express that in the application, that your solution could be solving one or more than one challenge, and we will definitely bear that in mind. Just please be specific about that. Do we have any other questions? Some of you might also wonder whether the solution that you're proposing has to be very much kind of specific on and focus on any specific challenge, or can we accept more sort of general approach? To that, I would say, please be as specific as you can. We can explore other sort of opportunities with you once you're accepted on the to be part of the cohort, but we would encourage you to be specific in your application. Some of you might also wonder whether we would introduce you to partners before the program. So that is something that we would not do. However, by being part of the cohort, you will certainly be introduced to them. And like I mentioned before, it's very much about collaboration, about finding out, what opportunities are available, what solutions can be applied to challenges. So definitely during the program. And we have a question that just came in from Tamer. I'm not sure if you answer this one or not. Is this any opportunities for academic to apply, contribute, or is this just for SMEs? My answer would be SMEs. Maybe Alex could suggest whether maybe academics could be part of joint application or not.
Yeah, we're working with the University of Plymouth, so they're one of our partners, and absolutely, if you would like to get involved with the programme, please do reach out to us on the emails are there on screen, and we can discuss that. Definitely open to involving as many parts of the ecosystem in this as we can.
And a question from Ahmed: is there any word limit to answer some of the questions? That's very interesting. I am not sure. Do you know, Alice, if there is a word limit on the application?
There is on the application page, but I'm really sorry, I can't remember what that is actually. But I think if you log on and register, it should give you that information.
Right. Do we have any other questions from anyone? Okay, so Amit says you can't see it there. Amit, if you want to just send me a quick email, I can check that for you and just message you directly to confirm. Okay, we have another question here. We provide a cybersecurity monitoring system for industrial control systems and have been working well within railway. Assuming this would be something to qualify for the use cases under infrastructure. Well, definitely we do not exclude you if you have been working with railway. Very much we see kind of crossover, of technologies between different sectors. So if your solution is applicable, you see it as applicable in the maritime industry, do apply. Again, Alice, do you have any other comments around that?
Yeah, we'd actively encourage that. I think that's really great where you can demonstrate traction in another space, vertical. That's brilliant. That's something that we'd like to see come through the applications.
Thank you. Any other questions? Some of you might also wonder in terms of we have 3 challenges, and how do we make sure that we kind of cover all of them and have SMEs from covering all these different challenges? Well, we obviously don't know who's going to apply, but we will try to have SMEs in the cohort that sort of represent or respond to each of the challenges. So we'll try to ensure that hopefully we have a wide selection of applications to allow us to do that. But there is no preference from our side which challenges are more important than others. We will try to have a kind of wide representation in the cohort. Do we have any other questions? I'm also wondering if there are any comments maybe from Alice, Sophia, Paul, Tom at this stage. If anyone would like to add anything?
I think you've covered it, Verona, unless
so. Great. I think we can probably wrap up a bit earlier then if there are no other questions. Again, do reach out to myself, Alice. We will try to help you with your applications, answer any additional questions. If you know of any friendly companies that you would like to share this opportunity with, please do that. We would very much like to encourage that. And yes, I want to just thank everyone who joined us today, our speakers and our attendees. We'll be sharing the slides with you and the recording. And I just want to wish you everyone a lovely day. Thank you, everyone.